Hello and welcome. The Debian-derived Linux distribution designed for forensics and penetration testing, Kali Linux, has just had a new release. Let's take a look. Kali Linux has been around for over 8 years now, and since then become a de facto standard tool for cybersecurity professionals around the world. Originally focused on kernel auditing, which is where the name Kali comes from, it now includes literally hundreds of tools all in one installation. I'd like to keep this video fairly short, so we can barely scratch the surface of all the things Kali has to offer. You can easily spend many hours going over all the features, but I'll leave that up to you and the time you like to spend. So without further ado, let's spin up a virtual machine. The Kali team recommends VirtualBox or VMware, but as you probably know, I like to use QEMU and KVM because it's all open source free software. So anyway, let's choose the standard graphical install today. Here we go. And we have the English language. And the location, my location is the United States. And the keyboard is standard American English. Okay, now it's detecting and mounting the installation media and loading additional components. Okay, now it's detecting the network hardware and the network. So I've pre-reserved on my DHCP server, on my private subnet here, the hostname Kali for this virtual machine. So it detected that, fine. We'll stick with Kali. Domain name, we'll just put in local domain rather. That's perfectly fine for our purposes today. So I'll set up the Steven user account. That's the username. I'll enter my password once and put it in twice for good measure. And, yeah, my time zone is Pacific. And continuing. So it's detecting the virtual disk. So we can do guided, use the entire disk, or use entire disk and set up an LVM, or use entire disk and set up an encrypted LVM, or manual partitioning, which can come in handy. Since this is just a virtual machine for demo purposes, we'll just use the entire disk. And click continue. So it found our 34 gigabyte virtual device. So we can do all files in one partition, or a separate home partition, or separate home var or temp partitions. Since this is going to be a simple VM, we're just going to use one partition. Click continue. So this will do. It'll set up a UEFI ESP boot partition. Root will be ext4. And it'll also set up a small 1 gigabyte swap partition. So that looks good. I've assigned 2 gigs RAM for this machine, which is plenty for Kali, which is very light distribution. So yes, partition 1 is ESP, partition 2 is ext4, and partition 3 is swap. Yes, let's write these changes to disk. Click continue. And now it's installing the base system. And we skipped over some stuff, and now it's going to the selection phase. So we'll stick with the standard desktop environment. In this case, we want XFCE, which is the default. That's perfectly fine, but you can also choose GNOME or KDE Plasma here. Got the standard collection of tools. Selecting this item has no effect. Okay. The top 10 will include those. And the default recommended tools available in the live system as well. So that's good. We'll leave large unchecked for today, so it won't take too long. Okay, now it's retrieving 2,037 files here. Kali is very light on resources and very quick and nimble on its feet, but it just takes forever. So I've edited out most of this time. It can take very long. So it's wrapping up with its configuration and installations. It's cleaning up now. Okay, so it's getting ready to move on to the next step, which is installing the Grub bootloader. Okay, so this again is a UEFI installation, which seems to be the default for a Kali graphical install. All right, it's finishing up the installation. It's installing the QEMU guest agent. I guess it recognized that I'm using a QEMU KVM virtual machine. I really like that setup, by the way. QEMU KVM works very well with my old hardware. Very efficient use of system resources. And it's built into the Linux kernel. So kernel VM is fantastic technology. I should make a video one day about this. Okay, installation is complete. So it's time to boot into your new system. Make sure to remove installation media. Yeah, so we'll do that. And we're rebooting. And here we go with the default Kali Linux boot install. Very nice splash screen. All right, here we have, I believe, LightDM. Go along with our XFCE desktop. So our username and our password, and log in. Okay, yes. Very nicely themed desktop. Beautiful wallpaper. I like that a lot. Let's just do something about the display resolution. Let's increase it to something like 1080p. Keep this configuration and close. All right. Let's open a terminal and do first things first. Make this a little bigger here. And that is, I bet you can guess it, it's check what kernel we're running, which is the modified Debian 5.10.46 kernel from August. So it's using about almost 10 gigabytes of root partition space. Here's our file system table. Nothing unusual there. A standard UEFI single partition install. CD-ROM is still mounted. That's okay. So let's update this thing. Sudo apt update and sudo apt dist-upgrade. And we'll do a -y, so it just completes by itself. After we enter our password, it syncs with the repositories and installs everything. All right, so we have been updated with the latest patches, etc. So let's reboot our VM. Okay, we're back to LightDM. Log in. And we're back. Let's open a terminal again. Make it a little bigger for you guys so you can see. And let's clean up our packages that we don't need anymore with sudo apt auto remove. Yes, a whole bunch of packages we don't need anymore, so let's just get rid of those. Okay, we're all cleaned up. Let's clear the terminal. So we have or I've set up rather, a /27 subnet, a private secure subnet for testing Kali. Along with the subnet, I also have a victim machine running Metasploitable version 2. So here we go. This is our homepage, a local file on disk. Welcome to Kali Linux. So we've got the official Kali documentation and community support. Let's take a look at the official documentation. We've got the light and dark theming. Let's make it dark. So we've got introduction, installation, virtualization, USB, Kali on ARM, containers, WSL, cloud, Kali NetHunter, general use, tools, troubleshooting, Kali development, community, and policy. Let's click on tools. And let's click on Kali tools. So we have a little bit of documentation here. So local information they recommend. They also have online information. But the local information is just man and then the tool name. So let's do that. Let's type man and map. So that's our standard nmap man page. As you can see, they give you examples and all the switches and command line options, etc., etc. And there's a lot of them there. So again, far too much to cover in this short video. So, okay, assuming we read all that, let's go ahead and sudo nmap-o, and I have the IP address for our victim machine. It's 10.1.10.179, which is in our same subnet. So you can see Metasploitable version 2 machines have a whole bunch of open ports. As we can see with the -o command, it's detected that we're running Linux 2.6 series of kernel. Network distance is 1 hop, as expected, since this is our special test subnet. So let's do a search exploit for an exploits for a Linux kernel of version 269, say. And that checks the database. And looks like kernel version 2.6 has a bunch of exploits registered. Yeah, so you can definitely see how much you need to patch on this old thing. Kernel 2.6 is very old. I think it's from the mid-2000s or something like that. Let's do a sudo nmap -s for stealth sin, and then -t4 for aggressive timing. So those are the part open or half open responses to port queries. As you can see, a bunch of ports are open. And let's expand a little bit by doing a -p and then 1 through 65, 535. Those are all the ports available. -t4 for moderately aggressive timing. And then 10.1.10.179, which is our victim machine. Okay. And as you can see down here, we've got a bunch of unknown ports that we're not going to get into now, but it found some more. Again, something to explore further. So it seems like our Kali Linux is working, at least for the nmap scanner. So we've got their home website, kali.org. They show it as the industry standard. Kali Linux is not about its tools, nor the operating system. Kali Linux is a platform. So you can make your job easier, Kali everywhere. Customize Kali with various components. When you create an installation CD, you can do that. Plenty of documentation. It's got all the tools. We just tried nmap. Got undercover mode, Kali NetHunter. You can install it on your Android phone. run on virtual machines, Windows subsystem for Linux. You have also, in addition to XFCE, GNOME and Plasma desktops. So this latest one was released on 14th of September, which is a couple days ago. The 21.3 release, or 2021.3. Yeah, okay. So that's the homepage. Let's click on Kali Tools. This is tools.kali.org. So the penetration testing tools present in Kali Linux. You got tools listing. Oh my word, no wonder it took so long to install. Look at all these tools from information gathering, vulnerability, wireless, web, exploitation tools, stress testing, forensics tools, sniffing and spoofing, password attacks, maintaining access, reverse engineering. My goodness, you can spend a lifetime in here. Hardware hacking. Yeah, just about everything your hacking heart desires. Of course, they've got some active forums in forums.kali.org. As you can see, lots of threads and posts. So if you have any questions about using Kali or want to share your experiences, here you can do it. So we've got the exploit database here from exploit-db.com. And it's done. It's ordered via post date. Yeah, a whole bunch of security notices and so on and so forth. Lots of exploitations there. We've also got the Google hacking database as a subset from exploit-db. Look at all these. Again, this is security professionals just thrive on this stuff. Let's go back to the homepage. I sure like how they themed XFCE. It's definitely something that is unobtrusive to my eyes, at least. Let's walk through the menu quickly. Got all applications, so nothing too shocking here. We got information gathering. Look at all those tools in information gathering. Vulnerability access, including fuzzing tools, which is a huge topic in and of itself. Web application analysis. So database-based and WordPress probably. Database assessment, password attacks, wireless attacks, reverse engineering, my goodness. Exploitation tools, so Metasploit framework, sniffing and spoofing, post-exploitation, what to do, what you can use after you've been hacked. Forensics, also. Reporting tools, reporting to your superiors, I guess. Social engineering tools, Kali and OffSec links. Got the settings, XFCE, and the usual applications. So nothing too fancy here. Database browser is kind of handy. Internet's got the Firefox. Multimedia, it's got a PDF viewer, I think that is. Text editor. And usual Unix toolkits. All right. And yeah, that's a whirlwind tool. A whirlwind tour, rather. Too many tools I've been seeing. Whirlwind tour of Kali Linux, the latest release. It's impossible to do Kali Linux justice in a little video, but I hope that you take a closer look at the documentation and the concepts presented. Many a successful professional has built an entire career out of cybersecurity, and it seems to only increase in relevance and importance as time goes on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you found this video interesting or useful, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time, be well.